this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Kitchen time, 5 plants selected today to repot. I was watering all my pots today, and as I came across the first one I thought actually we'll have a kitchen session and we'll get some of these knocked out, because they're hanging around, if you know what I mean. So as I went round I put those to one side and didn't water them, I remembered. Right, plants to go. 3 people have now had their boxes sent. Carol Sykes had hers sent yesterday, big box. Richard McLean had his sent today, big box. And Milan had his sent today, not a big box. So that's 3 people's boxes have gone. And I hate to say this, but I have run out of parcel tape. That's the brown stuff that seals the boxes. And I can't send any more boxes until I get some more. Now, when I took the boxes into the post office today, first of all, one box got rejected. Oh, sorry, we don't do medium-sized parcels, we only do small. Their website, our post office, our national post office, their website is just fundamentally wrong in all respects. The sizes and what you can take into a sub-post office are wrong. The weights are wrong and the prices are wrong. It don't leave a lot, does it? They just can't be bothered to update it. So anyway, I had to go into a main post office for the big box, but it's done, you know, no big deal. I had an ice cream while I was there because I had to go into town. It's almost worth doing it just for that. Yes, so the other people's orchids to go will have to wait until I've got some more parcel tape. So we'll start again next Monday, beginning of the week, and the ones that are left to go are either single or small numbers of plants, so there's no big boxes as far as I'm aware, although I can think of one that might be. Anyway, I will get back onto it, get some parcel tape all ordered, and we'll get that going again, but we're getting there, you know. It's quite fun going through my notes, deleting lines. Normally I'm inserting lines, aren't I? Right, scissors in alcohol, essential because multiple plants here. Now this plant has outgrown its pot and the roots are a little longer than what I would have liked, but not too long. And this is going to be a pain to try and get out the pot, I suspect. It's totally root bound. Whoops. So I think the first thing we'll do is cut the roots off the bottom of the pot, because it's going to stop them. They won't thread back through. They're quite stiff roots on Brassias. Let's try and snip these off. The idea again is doing multiple plants is one mess, one lot of clearing up. I like doing it like that. I know some don't. And I will be, this session we'll be getting the plants out of their pot, having a look at the roots, talking about what I'm going to do with them. The next video will be potting them up. And the reason I'm separating them is because a lot of people have actually said they like the bit at the beginning, but the actual potting bit they can live without. So it's by separating them, those that like to watch the plants be potted up can do so, because it'll be in a separate video. Those that aren't so keen will just be watching this bit. Now this will be 2 plants. That wasn't open to debate. I've already looked this one over. This is Brassia Santa Barbara, and it was one that I came back from Burnham's with. I don't know whether you'll be able to see that. This is this old bark that I've got. That's mould, I believe. Those little specks. That's another good reason for getting it out of its pot. And most of these roots down the side of the pot, the plant can live without them, actually. They may just get chopped off. I will look into it, but try not to damage the aerial roots. See, most of these are papery. The plant can live without those. It's got such good root systems coming on what will be the 2 pieces. It's not really necessary to keep this mass of roots that are old and tired. They're not going to branch now, they're too old and tired. And oh, lovely smell of mushrooms. I will have to get my hydrogen peroxide out now, which I haven't got because I didn't think I'd need it. Because if there's mould on the bark, then there's mould spores on the roots. Right, I'm just going to get my secateurs. And these were put away clean, so the first time I use them I don't need to worry about sterilising them. Now we've got a piece there that's coming off. It's going to leave 2 bulbs. No, it's not. It's coming off there so that I can leave 3. So if I cut this there, I've got a piece there with 3 bulbs. Let go. I'll use my other scissors. Those secateurs need adjusting. They need the nut done up. Can't be bothered to do it now. Right, so that's one piece, and then the other piece I'm going to take the oldest bulb off. See, that's my cut now, so I'm going to take this back there so that I've still got 3 bulbs, and it will go in the pot easier now. Right, there's 2 broken tips already. See how easily it's done? Right, and now we will chop this lot off. I haven't decided whether I'm going to pot these or mount them yet. I'm just trimming them up. That will do. Sheaths off. Although this has never had scales, so it's not quite so important. Right, that's one piece. We've still got some root tips and some actively growing roots down inside there, and some older ones, some of which are branched and got little root tips on. So that's one piece. That will have to have hydrogen peroxide because of the mould. The spores will be all over the base of the plant. So that can go in the sink. I haven't got my hydrogen peroxide out at the moment. And then this again is a nice piece, nice big pseudo bulb with leaves on. It was the last one to bloom in actual fact. There we go. Yeah, we'll take a load of this off as well. See, some of these roots are branching, so we'll go steady, leave the ones that are branching. You can see the little green tips in places, just there, so that will do. Now what I'd like to do is just cut a bit more of that rhizome off, it'll help it go in the pot easier. There we go. There's no point in leaving that long bit on there, it's not going to grow roots. More sheets. Right, again, hydrogen peroxide on that. What I suspect I will do is I will repot this opposite. So it will go in the middle of the pot like that with the 2 pieces with the new roots in the middle of the pot. Large, wide, flat pot. Right, in case I need them again, and I will need those again, and we'll have some of that. Alright, so that's a Brassia. They do well potted, they do well mounted. Various medias, it doesn't even matter that much, quite honestly. Right, now this is my Dendrobium delicatum, a naturally occurring hybrid. So it has a small X in front of the word delicatum. And this is still yet to start its flipping new growth this year, but I was told reliably that you can get on and repot these, you don't have to wait for the new growths. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on and repot it. Let's see if I can get this flipping steak off the pot. Oh, duct tape. Once it's on there, it don't want to come off. Now this was bought as a little kiki off of Sarah at a show. We've got a good root that's gone through the bottom of the pot. The chances of getting it back through the bottom of the pot are pretty slim, But I'm not going to cut it off, I'm going to try. I doubt if it will work, but it's got to be worth a go. We shall see. Well, some I don't want, so the less resistance you've got, the better. This has been in this pot a while, so this bark's old and tired. You're going to thread back through. I'm going to try because it has actually got active root tips on it. Yay! I love it when a plan comes together. You can see how old and tired this bark is, can't you? Awful. It's gone black. But we should get a new growth in the not too distant future, and we'll get roots at that point. Oh yeah, that's gone. We've actually got some root tips in places, so we've actually got some growing roots. I mean, that one's come down the bottom of the pot and come back up almost to the top, and down in the centre there's the odd one or two. There's quite a lot of old tired ones as well. We'll knock those off straight away. Mainly the old roots are in the centre, as you'd expect, the old part of the plant. That's usually the area that needs the good trim. That root will grow. That one will. That's the long one we threaded back through. We don't want to chop that, do we? He says chopping it straight off. I had a feeling that was going to happen. It was bending round another one and I hit the wrong one. Never mind, we will get more. Don't mind trimming roots off of a plant that I know is going to grow more in the very near future. And there's still enough left on there to hydrate this plant. These older bits here are coming off. Right. This is the latest growth, this is the previous growth. These two areas here at the base are where the new roots will come from soon, in the not too distant future. Again, that will get hydrogen peroxide because the bark's old and a bit niffy. If it's niffy, it's possible there's mould on it. So we'll get that cleaned up. That's another one. Another one done. Next, we'll take this one, black hair type this time, another Dendrobium. Now this one's been struggling for flipping ages. It's one of the black hair types that got scale bad and got treated. This one's had a slug on it, but it's had slug pellets as well, so I doubt if the slug is still there. It had a systemic treatment for the scale, and unlike some of the others, it didn't dump all of its leaves. It just reacted badly and stopped growing. So it sulked, which is not as bad as some of the others that just dumped their leaves. So they became leafless. These are not good roots, but some of them are viable. These aren't. These have had it. That little bit there can come off. That'll be a big cut. Take that piece off. Clean it up a bit. Right, old roots. There's not much else wrong with this apart from the bark's old. Doesn't matter how many times I say don't let your media start going off, repot before that. But when your plant's under extreme stress, due to a bad reaction to a systemic insecticide, it's difficult to know what to do. Do you try and let it recover and stabilise itself and then disturb its roots, or just get on and do it? I decided to leave it for a bit. So it's been in the pot a little bit longer than I would have liked, but we've still got some viable roots. Yeah. That one looked as though it was, but it's not. What was that one? Right, do we want to keep that little cane? No, we don't. We'll take that one off as well. It's just served no purpose. Right, and some of these will have to have the old what you call it on it. You know, I'm good mind to take that cane off as well. You know, it's leafless and it's covered in rock hard sheaths that would be virtually impossible to get off, and the chances are there's scale in there. Trouble is, if I take that off, it's going to separate the plant, because it's the largest based cane. So I think we might have to leave that. Who knows, that might be the next. So what we've got then is the last cane that I grew has still got its leaves. Not happy, but there. That is slug damage. Yet again. There's a few around, but I think with the last episode of slug pellets in pots, around pots, on the floor, you name it. I think I've probably got them now, but it doesn't stop any more coming in. You know, I mean, I found one in the middle of the lounge the other day on the carpet, struggling to move, obviously, totally dried out. Well, the cats bring them in. Cats go out and play on the long grass and get slugs and snails on them and bring them indoors. Right, that's that one. That is Dendrobium formidable. It's a cross between Infundibulum and something. I've forgotten what. But it's actually a named primary cross. Right, who are we doing? 2 to go. Right, this one came from Jeff's, and it's an escapee because it was effectively included in the National Collection, except for it wasn't documented. So I had a chat with Marius, and he said, well, if I don't know about it, I'm not going to miss it, am I? And this one didn't get repotted simply because I wanted it to settle into my environment. The problem with this one is it's in effectively dirt or something very similar. So who knows what we're going to find in this pot. From no roots to some to none to anything. But that's what I've been waiting for. Big fat new growth with new roots, and the fact that it's just fallen over because I've taken the stake off, I suspect we've got no roots at all. There's the solid plug in there. So anything that's had anything to do with that bit's not going to be very good. Okay, but we've got lovely big fat new roots just starting on that new growth. Both sides and probably underneath as well. So, timing. I'll have that. And all of these manky old tatty looking stringy things are coming off to make way for a nice new root system which is about to take place. There's more than enough life in these canes to sustain this plant until that new root system grows, more than enough. So we've got a virtually rootless plant. That's going to be difficult to pot because it won't stand up, because it's effectively top heavy because of this great big fat cane here that has bloomed, and I think this has grown on from a seedling. Yeah, tiny, next one, bloomed once, next one, 3 spikes, and now we've got a new one coming. So quite good. That's got a name. That's Dendrobium KO Green. Yes. I was just going to say, and it's obviously a so-and-so type. Well, no, it's not obviously at all. I haven't got a clue what sort that is. Right, last one, and this is my prima donna. And for once, I do believe this went in a pot that was a little bit too small. You know what I'm like. I do like to keep things in small pots, but sometimes you can go a little bit too much. This should just lift out. Oh, blimey, no, it's not going to lift out. It's an awful lot hanging out the bottom of the pot again. Just forming a resistance. That's most of them. You're going to love this one. I've been accused of being a bit brutal in the kitchen. There are times when it's justified, and some people have said there are times when it's not. Now, again, old tired bark, and this one got hit really hard because I left it one year, and the next year when I got round to doing it, I waited for the new growths to push on, and unfortunately that little piece is broken. Anybody want a bit of prima donna? But what's going to happen now? We've got latest growth, or one of them, previous growth, latest growth, previous growth, and another good one over here. And then what we've got is a load of old tired canes, including an area of the base that is all old tired canes. And they're coming off. There, that whole piece is coming off. So from there into there, and across there. I haven't finished yet because this one needs to come off as well. I've got a feeling, are you just going to peel off and not separate the plant that's left? Yes, you are. Good stuff. That leaves two old canes. Got one here, that will just twist off. Good, good, good. That leaves one. It's got leaves on them, mind you, they're manky leaves. They got caught with that, we did actually find out what all this was. Mesophyll cell collapse. The actual physical reason why we still never really resolved, but at least we found out what it was. So I'm actually going to leave that one on, just for a bit of support for the plant, because I have taken a fair bit away from it now. So we've got quite a nice little plant there, which with a little tie will sit upright nicely in the pot. Now what have we got in the way of roots? Most of these are okay actually. There's some old tired stuff in the middle, this sort of stuff. See quite a bit of old tired stuff, but this is about to burst into life, and these do put on a good spurt. Once the new growth start, the root activity is quite intense, quite a lot, and grows quickly too. So these are okay. That's not. Some manky one. I'm going to leave the rest. Again, this will have hydrogen peroxide treatment because it's got algae on the roots. That's where they were above the media. And also this pot spent a while before it went inside a black one. So there's algae on the roots. The hydrogen peroxide kills that off. And then it most of the time it just washes clean once it's dead. But it's best not to have lots and lots of dead algae in the pot because it basically decays and starts a decaying process within the media, so it's not ideal. Right, so there we go. A little bit of a clean up with the hydrogen peroxide. Tidy up with all the rubbish. And then sort out media and pots, which is part of the next video for those who are interested in that part of the process. Yeah, I see these as two separate processes, and most people that have commented have said, they've actually said that as well. That and I wasn't joking. If anybody wants a bit of prima donna, it's even got a new growth coming. Yeah. Probably costs £3 to bloody post it. Excuse my French. So I've got a bit of a thing with the post office at the moment. Cost me time and effort today trying to get them sorted out. Yes, so there we go. That's that part. I'll call it part 1 because obviously part 2 will be getting all of those in their pots or mounts, as yet undecided. But by the time I get to the stage of starting the camera up again, tidy up, selection of pots, selection of media, and we will put them in their pots or mounts depending on how I feel. And yeah, that'll be part 2. I'll be filming it now. I mean, I'll turn the camera off and have a tidy up and turn it straight back on and get on with this, but I won't post them together. They'll have a gap between them, and that way, as I said, people who like watching the actual potting process can do so, and those that are only interested in this stage can not bother with the next bit. You get choices. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.